A grand Guildhall welcome for two fine players. The venue absolutely crammed. Everything said fair. But you have to say, Ding with an awful lot of work to do. O'Sullivan is the man in command at the start of the second and concluding session of this, the Ladbrokes World Grand Prix.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Frame 10. Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
Yes, and Ronnie O'Sullivan was not at his best this afternoon, but sheer weight of scoring eventually took him away, right away from Ding Junhui. 3 centuries. Probably doesn't quite tell you how he played, because he missed quite a lot of shots. But in amongst it, there was that powerhouse scoring, break building that we see from him all the time. Good shot from Ding, 2 cushions. First go. Sometimes players take 2 or 3 efforts to get that shot bang on. I do believe that Ding will have to come out very quickly tonight, because within half an hour this match could be put right beyond him if O'Sullivan gets motoring again.
And the worrying aspect for Ding is that on all 3 occasions O'Sullivan's beaten him in a final, it's been by a heavy margin. 10-3, 2007 Masters, 7-1, 2011 Premier League, 9-3, 2014 Welsh Open.
It never seemed to stop rolling, that ball. I thought it was going to finish short, but it went on and on. Yes, well, they have to start going in those shots, especially leaving O'Sullivan more than tempting reds like the one he's faced with near his hand at the moment. Well, the shot here could be the red, obviously, to the right of the table, and he may think about playing a cannon on the red to the left of the black. If he could manage that, then he could be in. That's what he's looking at now. Not an easy shot. It's a 2-way shot. One the other way. And could hardly have played it better. I think he probably felt that the cannon would have to be full ball. If it was anything but, then he wouldn't be on the black. And Ronnie O'Sullivan looks at a shot as long as this. He's really trying to work out the best line of attack to get the black on its spot, to get everything open down there. Usually he sees the shot instinctively very quickly. And right in the middle of the bunch goes the left corner.
6.
Well, it's unusual. Lots of head shaking. If he could come in high up from the black, maybe he would be looking at kissing a red or two away from the black spot. He's only one key shot away from being right in. I'm sure there's a little cannon in the offing. Well, I think he might be on the red through the gap here. That would be lucky.
40.
He didn't know much about it. He's on that. And the black goes to the opposite corner.
When it comes to break building, Sullivan doesn't really need bonuses, but this really is a bonus.
$50.
Anything but straight on this red, and I think
22.
straight is exactly what he has got in front of him. That's no good. That's a good effort.
23.
There simply was not enough angle to play with. The break will end here. It's a great shot. Not seen him quite so uncertain in amongst them. It must have been a very complicated layout of the reds around the black spot there.
But what a way to finish. Anyone who's played this game knows that that kind of drop in snooker behind the yellow, you have to make perfect contact in terms of pace and line on the brown, and that's what he did.
Oh no. It wasn't a very big target actually. Usually you've got a 4 or 5 red target to just nestle into. There's one red in front of the others. And he just hit it half ball.
One.
The extreme force was to manufacture the angle, and he's achieved that very nicely indeed.
Yeah, it's just off straight actually. I wonder if he has got more than one way of getting on a red here. Direct screw back, or maybe could land on the red at the bottom of the bunch. And there's a very slight angle. Again, it might take a bit of pace though on it. That's okay.
Well, already he looks more
7.
focused to me than he did certainly early in the session this afternoon.
8.
We know he's trying to win his 32nd world ranking title this evening, which is 4 short of the record 36 of Stephen Hendry. What would be remarkable if he did prevail tonight, it would be the 16th different world ranking tournament in which his name would appear
50.
on the trophy.
Win or lose tonight, it was
6.
a time filled one. I didn't think he'd ever get to Hendry's 36, but I now think it will be a big shock if he didn't, because he's playing too well, and he has done over a sustained period.
Yes, I always thought Hendry's record, like you, Neil, was pretty much impregnable. Not so now.
23. 24.
the other byproduct of a victory here tonight would mean that with £100,000 first prize, O'Sullivan would be basically guaranteed to have, at the age of 42, his most lucrative season ever in terms of prize money. It's remarkable what he's doing.
$31.
Yeah, this frame has required quite an intense period of concentration for O'Sullivan, but it's working.
28.
And any colour here means he's already another frame in front.
39.
Does he go into the bunch still? Probably. He won't be too concerned that he's missed the pack there, because his main priority was always the pot, and 2 snookers are required. So he'll live with that.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 46.
Two visits, okay, but the perfect frame. 23, laid a cracking snooker, and from the chance created, tidied up.
Yes, and if you remember, he actually potted one cracking long red and went in off, and Ding had his only opportunity, a red at length, which he wobbled. So that was the best thing that came his way in that frame.
Seven.
I mentioned earlier that English professional
8.
English Open victory against Kyron Wilson, where he led 6-2 in Barnsley at the start of the session into the evening. And of course Kyron Wilson had an outside chance, but he absolutely
15.
buried Kyron Wilson in the evening session, played
60.
wonderfully. So he's not frightened to go away and win by a wide margin. He's always been a very good front runner, Phil, hasn't he?
23.
He's a very good everything
24.
when it comes to snooker.
A wonderful cue in that shot. I know the frame's over, but he really... That cue ball was guided around the table for the yellow. This is very, very good. Everything this afternoon wasn't actually, especially at the beginning, when balls were being missed in the first frame all over the shop.
Fully agreed, Neil, and yet his pot success rate in 10 frames
44.
94%. Breaks of 46, 44. The O'Sullivan juggernaut continues to roll on to 7-3.
Thank you, frame 11. Junhui to break.
The Preston Guildhall has been very kind to Ronnie O'Sullivan over the years. Some wonderful memories he has of this place. Tried to win his 4th ranking title at this venue here tonight. It all started for him as a 17-year-old when he won the UK Championship in 1993. The youngest ever winner of a world ranking event then, and he remained so. 25 years on, he's as good as ever. In my opinion, even better.
Another brilliant pot. You're right, he's got everything. He's got absolutely everything, because what he didn't have back then was a particularly good safety or tactical game. And that obviously comes with experience. You're not just born with that. And we saw it in the last frame when he broke down and put Ding in behind the yellow.
8.
But when his long game's also functioning, then really it becomes extremely difficult to beat.
9.
He's not won this yet, but he's kind of going to form. He came in here as the #1 seed. And if you're wondering why Selby wasn't the #1 seed, this tournament is for the top 32 players on this season alone. And of course, Ronnie's miles clear of everybody.
14.
So he was seeded to win it. He may well go on to do that.
50.
He's definitely going to be #1 seed for the upcoming Players' Championship in Llandudno.
Two.
Yes, and it'll be very difficult to beat.
23.
Amongst other reasons, we don't start with best of 7 there. It's best of 11 from the outset, which means that the better the player, the better the chance of winning, I guess.
30. 31.
Well, that surprises
36.
almost everybody, I think, in here, that he's overrun to the extent he has. He got a wonderful touch, and he looked to be getting it all back. That red, he's just discovered that it goes. Yep, there was nothing to stop it, actually. It was a full pocket.
27.
And Ronnie only found out about it when his intended shot became unavailable.
Had a little bit of positional luck in the first frame of the evening as well. When he's playing beautiful snooker as he is now, and he's having
Fina.
a little bit of run on top of it, you might as well turn out the lights and go home. That seemed to be a slightly dull contact, though, in fairness to him.
Well, he comes round quickly to see if the pink is available. It's the only hope of keeping the break going. That looks very tight, and I can't believe that goes. The red is covering the potting angle. But even that, okay, he's broken down. Look at the safety shot he's played. Absolutely watertight. By a long way, his second option. I think he's not getting a chance. It's twice he's played that shot tonight, and both times to perfection.
The other clever aspect of O'Sullivan's safety shot on the green is that he's knocked the green safe. Should Ding get a chance to maybe clear up. When you're 40 in front, putting a colour safe is definitely the right way to go.
Very well done. We really would have liked a nudge on something. A beautiful shot, because the pot and the cue ball coming out of the bunch without hitting one was very well judged. That was very good play from Ding Junhui. If he's going to turn this around, he's got to continue to pot those. He saw a gap here in the bunch. Slight moral victory for Ding Junhui there, just the last couple of shots. Well, they go for this, red that he's close to.
Just not happening for Asia's number one. This match for me turned in frame 5 when O'Sullivan knocked in a cracking red to that same pocket at a really acute angle, went on to make a century, and ever since he's been in total command. And the opening red there was no bargain either.
6. 7.
Ding Junhui's potted one ball tonight. That was that brilliant red a few moments ago.
50.
Couldn't follow it up with the one that he was close to. And it's another frame that is gone. The match feels like it's gone as well.
22. 23. Thirty. 31.
You can't help but savour what he does.
88.
He's not going to be around
13.
forever, is he, Neil? Now that he's still here, still at the peak of his powers, just enjoy.
No, he's not going to be around forever, but about 2011, before he won the world title again, you might have thought that you'd seen the best of him. I don't think I'd have been alone in thinking that. We were all wrong. In a way, the best is yet to come.
Foul. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 39.
That wasn't it.
But
it mattered not in the slightest.
Frame, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Ronnie O'Sullivan is now 2 frames away from being Ladbrokes World Grand Prix champion.
Thank you, frame 12. Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
You have to think that glittering piece of silverware is heading towards the expansive trophy cabinet that's in the home of
Give it a white with a cloth.
Ronnie O'Sullivan. Not happy with the cue ball, though. The referee, Greg Caniglio,
Change it, then,
asking O'Sullivan if he wants to change the white.
Pink. Should we change that? Go, get a white one.
Yes, it might have been a little chip out of it or something not right about it. We don't see that very often. There will be plenty more somewhere. So
Just asking for another white ball out of the office.
So we're just waiting for another one to come. Maybe a mark on it. And of course, if you do see something in your line of view on the cue ball, a mark that cannot be got off, then it can distract certain players.
Unusual to see that kind of thing happening, but it does crop up now and again. And the ball's now so uniform that it doesn't really matter, does it, when you change the white? You know that the next one they bring out will react exactly the same.
Well, you'd hope so, wouldn't you? But yes, I'm sure it'll be absolutely fine. I don't know what Ding Junhui's got to do to get back into this game, because he's been basically wearing out the carpet at the bulk end, because that's where he's playing all his shots from. Certainly tonight, he's not really had many chances. He had one red in that frame that he missed. And chances are very scarce, and you've got to take them whenever they come along.
Frame 12. Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
So we've got Michael White and Jimmy White on the tour, and now we've got two whites in this final. for those of you who are hoping for a very close finish. What's happening with Ding's game so far in this session does not augur well. He looks all at sea. Missed that by a mile. Okay, he's not having quality table time either. That doesn't help.
1.
But right now, Neil, you can't envisage a comeback.
No, you could have kind of seen this happening. It was a long lead, which when he took in, it was probably a bigger lead than the match on balance reflected. Neither player was at their best. Ronnie started to score eventually. And 3 frames felt big. And of course 5, even bigger.
No.
No obvious sign of him letting up. He's played better tonight than he did this afternoon.
In the 12th frame of the 2014 Welsh Open, Ronnie O'Sullivan made a 147 break against Ding. This is the 12th frame here. Just saying. It's over now.
Well, it's a funny shot that, because he actually hit it into the left side of the pocket, which I thought would
24.
swing the cue ball wider and further, but it didn't. It actually stopped very quickly all the same. A nice recovery.
25.
Not enough to stop him, the previous shot. Wow, the noise that made. Dropped his chalk as well as he did a few times this afternoon, but he's crunching them in. And that bunch has been opened right up again.
$31.
Yes, dropping his chalk is about the only mistake he's making at the moment.
$38. $39. $46.
Okay, well, not a frame winner, which a lot of people in this guild tonight might have felt was about to happen. It was a difficult cutback. It was probably the couple of shots before which is the reason he didn't continue the break. Hit that very well, Ding. Cue ball zipped back.
$8.
Well, when O'Sullivan ran out of position before, it was because the cue ball zipped back. So did the white off the black there.
$9. $16.
dear.
In Junhui, 16.
It was just off straight. He wanted a bit more angle, and he almost gave himself more angle to the detriment of the actual pot itself. He's furious. I think more with frustration. I didn't think last night's late finish would make any difference. I have to say, it's taken the edge off his game, in my opinion. I don't know if he'd have won anyway, but he hasn't played very well today.
Well, forehead against wooden cushion rail equals no contest. Only one winner there. The brow is red. Not surprised.
8. Nine.
Red colour,
60.
red is all he needs.
$70.
He's got to keep ploughing on. He's annoyed with himself that it's straight. Setting himself very high standards, but he's about to go 9-3 up in the first of 10 final of a huge tournament, so he shouldn't be too
24.
disappointed with himself. And that's another frame one.
25.
Gets to the point, I think, when in a long match like this, when a player is so far ahead, it's almost that both players want it over with. Ding will try his best, but there's a part of him that probably, you know, he's looking for the door now. And that's only to be expected. It's human nature when you're this far behind. It's demoralising.
27.
One-way traffic
35.
as a snooker Rolls Royce goes down a trophy road.
36.
This evening, 5 breaks over 40, 1 over 30.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 43. And the frame.
All Ronnie O'Sullivan. The lead is now 9-3. The requirement, one more frame to be crowned champion.
It doesn't look as if the end is going to be
Thank you,
long
frame 13.
delayed.
Ding Junhui to break.
Ding Junhui trailed 6-3 at the interval. His only real hope was to put together 2 quick frames at the start of the evening session, but in fact the opposite happened. So at 9-3, it's all over, bar the formalities.
Yes, what might be left is as to whether it gets to the mid-session interval, which if Ding won it would be after this frame. If Ronnie wins, it's game over.
One.
Of course, any professional has his pride of performance, but it's really hard when you have no realistic prospect of winning. You just want to put the best scoreline on that you can.
Well, that's often underlined by many of the best of 25 frame 3 session matches at the Crucible, where a player is so far behind he almost gives up the ghost. Matches will be over with a session to spare. He's played well this week, Ding. I'm pleased to see him playing better.
5.
But not so much today, in fairness.
Well, concentrating on position,
Ding Junhui.
but the
5.
pot itself was pretty easy. You can't help but feel that Ding's mental resources were severely depleted by his very long semi-final against Mark Selby last evening. 4 hours, 40 minutes of that, 41-6-5.
What he's just done there, Clive, is what he's been doing all the way through this tremendous tournament this week here at the Guildhall. His safety has been quite magnificent at times. He already knew he could play safe, but some of the trouble he's got his opponents in. Go back to that match with Yan Bingtao, who was a very much up-and-coming player. He tied him in knots, and he had to, because that was the most difficult of the matches he's faced.
In fact, O'Sullivan only came through 4-3.
That's not what he would have played. I can absolutely guarantee that he played into the left of the bunch, and it was pushing squared up considerably. He got a clap, but it wasn't the shot he tried.
Ding Junhui 4.
Well, that was unexpected. He's trying his hardest, but they won't go in.
It's been a very frustrating day for him. I think in some ways this evening is probably even more frustrating, because 4 or 5 of those he's got very close to, and they all wriggled and stayed out. Such is the fine margins between success and failure at snooker. I think he's looking at the 2 reds at the bottom of the bunch. There's one in the middle as well.
One.
Those 2 reds, I think he's looking at for his next shot. They definitely go. The bottom one will certainly go. Doesn't have to play a cannon here. May not be a full pocket, but I think it goes into the middle of the pocket. Now you can see a perfect demonstration. And that is on. Especially from as close to it as he is.
8.
No doubt about it in my mind.
9.
Comfortably went.
It would be nice if O'Sullivan could round off his victory with his
50.
11th century of the tournament.
$60.
He made 12 in winning the English Open back in October. And that was a tournament involving 7 rounds. This
23.
one was of only 5 rounds.
24.
Yes, and he'll going to the next phase of this series, if you like. The Players' Championship in Llandudno is a very warm
31.
favourite. Saying earlier on, Clive, you've got the slightly riskier
32.
best of 7s to start with, his long matches. Best of 11s from the outset, 16 of the world's best players. And the man we're watching is the man they've all got to fear.
$29. $40.
The green is just something that might interest him. It's an easier pot than the black. The cue ball is not under complete control, but it's a backup shot. He's played it well. He has controlled the cue ball, though. That's beautiful. What a recovery that is.
Still on the trail of century number 934.
Cue.
As he intends to make further progress towards the 1,000, which he's expressed the ambition of achieving.
There's a great area to land in after that green, right in the middle, choice of reds. And he's played better
44.
this week and this season than he has in this final, but it's an overwhelming success all the same.
We did see spasmodic excellence from O'Sullivan this afternoon.
51.
He made 3 centuries.
52.
But it wasn't consistent excellence. Not like that he showed in the English Open final when he missed only 6 pots all day in beating Karen Wilson 9-2.
That last black was the final piece of the jigsaw. Landing behind the red. What a great player.
$67. 68.
There's a first prize of £100,000 awaiting him to add to the 558,000 he's already amassed this
75.
season. With several
76.
big money tournaments to come, he could well become the first snooker player to earn £1 million in prize money in a single season.
82.
That would be beating Mark Selby's record of 932,000
83.
and odd.
He could make a century here because the natural angle is into the red from this black. Not to be.
No century, but this evening's a ruthlessly efficient display, converting the 6-3 interval lead into a 10-3 victory. What a player, what a player. It's his 32nd world ranking title, and now he's only 4 behind Stephen Henry's all-time record of 36.
Yes, and look at the joy. His friends are out there with him, his little group of followers. And he's battled some of the way through the week. He's been brilliant in spells, but he's now the consummate match player, as well as the genius of a snooker player that he's always been.
So now it only remains to hand you over to John McDonald to host the presentations.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. The presentation, would you please welcome the chairman of the WPBSA, Mr. Jason Ferguson, and on behalf of our title sponsors, Ladbrokes, the head of UK sponsorship, Adrian Osman. So, ladies and gentlemen, the runner-up receiving the silver medal and £40,000, and that goes to Junhui.
Ding, I'm going to take you over here to the middle. Ding, listen, I don't think anybody could live with Ronnie when he's in that kind of form. You didn't really get much of a chance in that one tonight, did you?
No, I have good chance in the first sessions and didn't take it as well. And yeah, it looked like I played rubbish, and in the end, it doesn't respect it too much.
He's a very difficult man to beat, though. But listen, you've had a quiet season, but you seem to be coming back into your best form, usually at this time of year, with some big tournaments to come. So you must take something from that going forward.
Yes, been a few months doesn't play well, and I feel good in this all week. You know, play Ronnie in the final is always my dream. It doesn't matter how it's going. I just want to play well against him. It doesn't happen every time, but just try. Yeah.
Okay, well done, Ding. Thank you very much indeed. Ding Junhui, ladies and gentlemen.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, as we present our winner with £100,000 and the gold medal, ladies and gentlemen, Ronnie O'Sullivan. Yes.
Ronnie, wow, you've given everybody a fantastic evening here in the Guildhall, as you have so many times. 25 years after winning your first ranking title here, your 32nd. Just how pleased are you with that tonight?
Yeah, obviously very pleased, to win this tournament. It's a great tournament. I just want to say well done to Ding. He's had a fantastic tournament. He's a great player, so I just want to say well done to him. I want to thank the fans, because they've supported me in this tournament so well this week, and it's been a fantastic tournament. It's a great venue. Obviously, I want to thank my sponsors, Prix, Better Betting, because they've supported me as well, So, everybody sees you just here playing and making it look easy sometimes, but obviously there's a lot of support, and, I just want to thank all them people. But for me, it's just nice to still be playing and competing and having fun, so it's good.
You certainly look as though you're enjoying it out there, Ronnie. That's your 4th ranking title this season, which is just remarkable. 42 years old, you're just going from strength to strength.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird, really. I mean, I kind of rededicated myself just before last year's World Championships, because for 2 years I kind of took my eye off the ball, and I thought, well, let's just see if I can still play. So I put a bit of work in, and, I've had a few results, which is great. But it's weird, really, because you can put all the practice in and still not do nothing. I mean, I haven't played since the Masters. I come here cold for a month, and you win a tournament. So this game doesn't make sense sometimes. You're either lucky or you're not lucky. So I got lucky this week.
Well, you work hard at your luck, I can tell you that. Listen, thank you very much indeed. We've enjoyed watching you this week. We'll see you again in Llandudno, and good luck in Wales. Thanks, Ronnie.
Thank you.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's now the moment we've all been waiting for. Our winner, receiving the magnificent trophy. And ladies and gentlemen, his 32nd world ranking title as we crown him the Ladbrokes World Grand Prix champion, Ronnie!